Yeah. Yeah. Them the clique they tried to bury. Yeah. I'm the storm. Yeah. I'm the storm they tried.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we gon' take a moment before we dive in.
Let me show some love, you know. Yeah, flow.
Turn on the stream, feel the energy rise. Shout out to the fam, the ones in the skies. Every comment, every laugh keeps the vibe alive. You're the heartbeat of the chat, yeah, we thrive. Pulling up each night, ready to roll. You make this place lit, body and soul. Vibes in the back, heavy lifting, they don't play. Keeping it smooth, watching traffic every day. Peacekeepers on alert, holding down the fort. Crew full of love, every stream they support. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Are the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's do the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Are the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's do the deal.
We see you dedicated, going the extra mile. Not just watching you invested, that's the style. Lights on, vibe strong, every show's a hit. Community together, can't take a minute to quit. You keep us going, no watered down vibe. From the chest to the miles, know we thrive.
Major respect to the ones who keep it clean. Clean up crew rolling, y'all know what I mean. Don't try it today, they say with a glance. Bringing peace to the chaos, giving us a chance. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Y'all the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's do the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. You're the backbone of the night, holding us tight. Just know, this is true. We appreciate every single one of you. This is our moment, community's the key. Let's get it poppin', let's set the stream free. So here's to the chat mods and members like, oh, you're the heart of the stream and that's never getting old. Now let's get into it, yeah, we ride on time. With you by our side, every night's a prime.
Yeah, we out here holding it down. This community's love, wear it like a crown.
Yeah. Yeah, he should've. Yeah, he. No, baby. Yeah, 15 years old, trapped in the storm. Eddie faced the world, trying to keep warm. Caught in the system, had nowhere to go. D.A. Riley stepped up, but didn't feel the flow. Tried him as an adult, like he was a beast. But Eddie was just baby, still searching for peace. The court didn't listen, judgment was fast. But deep down inside, Eddie knew he'd outlast. Eddie should've got rehabilitated. In a youth center, they underestimated. But he rose from the ashes, turned pain into drive. Changed policies, kept the hope alive. Riley thought he drowned, thought he'd get crushed. But that young heart post never lost that rush. Locked up in a cell, thought he wouldn't survive. But Eddie found the strength to help others thrive. So he spoke up for those who couldn't be heard. Gave a voice to the voiceless, spitting truth with his words. Redefined the prison, made the system rethink. From broken to whole, he showed them their link. Eddie should've got rehabilitated. In a youth center, they underestimated. But he rose from the ashes, turned pain into drive. Changed policies, kept the hope alive. Maybe it's fate, maybe it's a plan. Sent to light the way, like a guiding hand. God designed to minister the broken souls. Eddie walked the path, made the system whole. From the dark of despair to the light of the truth. Eddie's life story, the wisdom of youth. Changed the laws, brought awareness to the game. Now prison standing tall, never feeling the same. So when you see a kid with a troubled past, remember Eddie's fight, how he rose from the crash. He's more than the case, he's a beacon of light, proving every single day that wrong can turn right. Eddie should've got rehabilitated. In the youth center they underestimated, but he rose from the ashes, turned pain into drive. Changed policies, kept the hope alive. So here's to Eddie, breaking every chain from a victim of the system to breaking the rain. Maybe he was fate, a godsend in disguise, changing prison lives, giving hope to the wise.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. How are we doing today, baby? Sorry, just had to turn down my television. What's happening, everybody? How we doing? You know, shout out to Patricia Roy. Hope you're feeling better. You know, good morning, real ones. You know, Robert, how you doing? Robert finished number 29 yesterday. Rang that bell 3 times. You know, shout out to you. Yeah, I was going over some. I'm always going over something with this Eddie O'Brien. So much information that was out there, you know, that we had to get. You know, but I appreciate everybody holding us down and hope to see a lot of people on the 7th. You know, at the first look screening, you know, it should be a night, you know, get there early because I'm sure, you know, it's going to fill up fast. You know, the Rule 30 is coming soon. They're just waiting to get a couple more things done. I know it was said it was going to be done by the 30th, but you know, things happen, you know, waiting to get a couple more affidavits, you know, so they have everything, you know, in order, you know, 'cause once you submit it, that is it. You know, it's raining down here, you know, where I'm at, you know, on the all the way on the south end of Rhode Island. Like you can't go south any farther than where I'm at. You know, all the way down there, Watch Hill, Westerly. You know, I was looking over some of the blood work, you know, and it just reminded me of like, you know, in every neighborhood, there's always somebody, right? That, you know, they tell a story one way on Monday and a whole different way on Friday, you know, and that's kind of what the blood work was kind of looking like, you know, just you know, the chemist that running that blood test, you know, in a murder case, man. But I guess that was the world of what was her name? Mary Kate McGilvray. You know, she was a Massachusetts State Crime Lab technician. She tested the blood in the Eddie O'Brien's case, you know, and somehow she managed to make the evidence tell 2 different stories. Like, imagine that. You know, yeah, she managed to make that shit tell 2 different stories. We'll get into that. Yep, you know, Patricia Roy, send her a message. I'm sure she'll be happy to, you know, bring whatever books you need or reserve 2 books. You know, yeah, so happy you're here too instead of the hospital. Thankfully, it's nothing that needs more surgery. No, we don't want you to do any more surgery, you know, so. Man, I gotta say, man, you know, you start looking to see what's going on with Turtle Boy, and like he is dropping people out of the Turtle Boy camp fast. First it was Machado, and then it's Nurse Kim, you know, and I would have thought that they would have been 2 of his most loyal supporters. Absolutely. Yep, you can also Venmo Margot. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would hit her up on Messenger, and I'm sure she won't mind. All of a sudden she's gonna have like 30 people messaging her. Save me a book, save me a book. They're probably gonna be all gone by time she gets to the event. On Friday. Like I could have only imagined the amount of calls gonna get about saving a book. But how is everybody? Let me ask y'all a question. If you had, say you're on the other side, say everything that we have talked about, what's the one thing in your mind that you would question Eddie's innocence about? And I know we all believe he is guilty. TV is crashing out. And I know we all, don't think he's guilty. We all believe in Eddie's innocence. But what is the one thing that really, would you say, well, this is questionable? I would like everybody, if they could at least, before the chat, at least give me one thing that you would think that Eddie would be questionable about. Or just maybe something that you may think is a little bit off. Something I'm just wondering from my own research, as I prepare, on the 7th, I'm going to give a presentation, of a timeline. And I was just wondering, just wanted to have some input about things that were off. Do you think it was at 8:30, the timeline? Was it 9:30? Was Eddie jumped? Was he not? What are some things that and of course, we all believe Eddie's innocent, right? Well, I do. I'm just strictly. Oh, did I send that yet? Oh, yeah, here it is. Now I got the damn screenshot. It's kind of a little bloody though. Oof. That definitely is a little bloody. But yeah, I was looking at give me a minute, I'm just trying to move some stuff around here. Now, of course, I got too much here. Okay. I'll tell you what, that Riley did so many questionable things. It just kind of makes you like kind of scratch your head. But yeah, we were looking at the some of the blood tests today, but what we're gonna do? Let's check out. Let me get this down.
It's just how fast your life can change just in an instant.
The anguished parents of Edward O'Brien Jr. have been living a nightmare for the past week and a half. They've launched an aggressive defense of their son, now setting up a reward fund for information in this case.
We've gotten support from people we don't even know. People that Ed knew, I mean,
People
you can
that
go
we
out-
don't even know,
yeah.
that Ed didn't know. I mean, we've gotten letters
Yeah.
just signed from a friend, not even signed.
Look at all that hair Ed has, huh? Look at that full head of hair.
Yeah. It's just.
I think a lot of people have gone back to church. I think a lot of people are praying more.
Yeah.
And the O'Briens are praying too, because the night of July 23rd, when Janet Downing was brutally stabbed to death, their son says he was mugged by two men near the old fire station in Somerville's Union Square. The O'Briens want to find the alleged attackers.
We just want these two gentlemen
To come forward.
just to come forward. We're not going to press charges.
We don't care what happened. We don't care. We
You
just
know,
want
we'll
them
give
to
them
come
a hug.
forward.
I mean, honest to God, we just want these two gentlemen.
He said, we'll give him a
to
hug.
come forward.
They know he's innocent.
They know he's innocent. They know this happened.
Now, yes, and I guess what happened is when they got the investigator on it, Mrs. O said that the investigator found the two guys, but Eddie did not want to falsely ID them. Eddie wasn't sure about their identification, you know, but they got the two guys to come forward. But it was Eddie that didn't want to come forward with the information. You know, I hope everyone's gonna be there on the 7th. You know, it should be a good night to raise, you know, some money for Eddie. You know, maybe a good night to get your first book signed. If you got a first book, bring that too, and maybe you can get Margot to sign that as well. Now, this I have to turn on my other computer. Guess I can see what's on the screen. Now, this is the, you know, the whole Mary Kate, we'll just call it Mary Kate situation, right? You know, the crime lab version of someone getting caught switching answers on a test, basically. You know, but we're gonna go over this a little bit. But imagine this lady, like, couldn't even be straight up. You know, about what was going on and stuff. But go back up here. So I guess that this says that the Mass State Police Crime Lab chemist Mary Kate conducted the serology testing on only 21 of the 59 items that tested positive for the presence of blood on them. The MKM switched her results from the lab, and that's Mary Kate. Switched her results from the lab notes to the serology report she submitted on at least one sample. When the samples are examined, there are different intensities in the antigen, right? And they range from +1 to +4. Mary Kate considered it a mixture from more than one contributor. And basically, what this is basically saying is basically my notebook says you owe me $20, but the receipt I'm giving you says you owe me $200. You know, basically she switched the blood type, right, on at least one item, maybe more. We don't know how many she switched, right? The antigen, right? The shit matters, and she knows they matter. And I guess in serology testing, right, they say the strength of the reaction, I guess +1 to +4. I don't know this shit, so don't give me, right, this was very, very confusing to even try to understand. But it basically was telling you that if the blood is from one person, right, or a mix of people, right, you got, if it's the same intensity, it would basically be one person. Different intensity, it's a mixture. You may say, oh, this is, what they teach you right away, but I think, let me see, where is it? So right here, well, I don't think you're looking at the same thing I am. That's all good. Where are we? All right. I know what I gotta do. I know what I have to do. Here we are. Okay. Bingo. Look at that. You guys think I stream too much? Do we talk about Eddie O'Brien too much? I know we're definitely going to find some other stuff to talk about, but is every day too much? I mean, I do it for y'all. I mean, I could lean back and chill, but I figure there's a lot of information to get out there, and and another thing, I don't want people to think that, I do this just for money, because I tried to give some of the money that I get, I offered it to Mr. O'Brien. I offered to send it to him. I heard them saying over there on the harbor, talking about, they don't like people that do this for money and stuff. And I was like, well, I do get money for it, but it costs me money to keep this going, to print stuff out. But I don't want anyone to think that it's about the money. It's really about freeing Eddie. And I tried to give a percentage, and Mr. O'Brien turns me down. He actually got upset at me one day. So I really didn't want to ask him again after that. But I don't want anyone to think it's, and I'm not saying they was even directing it towards me, but I was like, kind of like, I don't know, maybe I was feeling a little sort of way. Only because I was like, man, I would start thinking, am I grifting? Like, I mean, I don't really get a whole lot from this, not at all. I don't think I've had, it's just what people gift me, super chats, memberships. YouTube don't pay me anything. I'm not monetized in that way, so it's like it's very, very limited to what people donate or they gift the memberships. But I just wanted to yeah, I'm sure it didn't even have to be said, but I just wanted to let it, because I just kind of came back to doing this because to get Eddie out, to try to help free Eddie. And I probably shouldn't have even mentioned any of that, but it's just weighing on my mind a little bit. Give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. You know where I stand. Yeah. You know where I stand. These walls echo my name, but they don't know my truth. Captured in a frame, but my spirit's bulletproof. Took my freedom away, but couldn't silence my call. That whisper in the night, I'm innocent after all.
I am still here. Hear my voice, can't you see?
I rise with the sun.
Can nobody bury me? I am still here. Hear my heart, can't you feel?
Truth runs deep within.
It's the only thing that's real.
Yeah. Counting down the years, but seasons on pause. Watch my dreams fade like light behind bars. Hope is my anchor, a lifeline in the storm. Warmed by time, but my spirit won't conform. They label me a ghost, but my heart's still alive. The weight of a crime that I never contrived. No truth could change me, no lie could erase who I am inside. Rooted deep in this place.
Every sunrise whispers, justice will find a way.
I keep my head high.
Living for that day. To those who believe, thank you for seeing me.
The man beyond the wall.
Longing to be free.
Refuse to let bitterness define my legacy. Instead I hold faith, letting hope set me free. One day these gates will swing wide, truth will walk with pride. And when that moment comes, I'll be standing side by side.
Until that day arrives, I'll stand tall in my fight. Keep saying who I am, voice echoing through the night. I carry my story, it's far from over now. A heart of resilience, I'll show you just how. I am he and he is me. I am innocent, you see.
My story's still being written.
One day I shall be free. I'll chase the dawn, I'll seek the light. I won't back down.
With every step I take,
I'm claiming solid ground.
All right, we back. We back. I appreciate y'all. You know, we went over some of the DNA the other day. That was pretty interesting. That was pretty interesting. You know what we have up on the screen. You know what? Give me. My wife's video just showed up. Rashawn Rock just invaded my phone. You know, but we're gonna talk about the serology test in 1 minute. I got some banking I gotta do right quick, right this second. Don't worry, y'all can chill right there. I'm on the other computer, so online banking. Damn, $0. We broke. It's all right. You know what? I think I learned to get used to being broke. Okay. Anyway. You know, it's a shame because every time you go to the store, you got to check your bank account and make sure you have enough money in there because, you know, you'll turn a $6 purchase into like a $46 purchase when you got to pay that damn overdraft fee. You know, our overdraft fee is nothing nice. You know, but in this lady's lab notes, right? She writes that I guess antigen +3, right? And the B antigen was a +4, and I guess that means AB, a mixture of A blood and B blood. But then in her official report, she magically transforms it into AB, a single person with AB blood. But guess who had AB blood? Janet did. Right? So the official report, and I had to go back and kind of reread this a couple times, right? The official report, right? This blood comes from the victim. Case closed, done. But in her notes, right, it says that the blood could be from multiple Downings or Ortiz or somebody else entirely. That's not in her official report, but it's in her notes. Imagine that shit. That the blood could be from multiple Downings. You'll hear that? Multiple Downings. Like, this is the first time I'm actually reading the serology blood work. But I'm kind of like stoked. I'm like, yo, like, what's up with that? You know, from different Downings or Ortiz or someone else entirely.
That's crazy.
You know, I don't know if anyone's hearing me on that, but if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube. I really appreciate that. You know, yeah, I know it was pouring over here, Trish, this morning. You know, it was pouring. You know, we're going over the serology blood test, and I'm just kind of baffled that, you know, the doctor, not the doctor, but the lady who does the blood, Mary Kate. You know, this lady in her notes, she has a antigen, right? Who's like a 3+, you know, and a B who's a 4+. So I thought that was two different bloods, right? So that means that that A, B is a mixture of blood plus A blood plus B blood. It's mixed together. Multiple sources, right? Now, but in her official report, people, in this lady's official report, I'm like, yo, are you serious? In her official report, she transforms it into AB, being a single person with AB blood. And Janet had AB blood. So the official report, right? I don't know if I'm reading this right, makes it look like that the blood came from the same victim, right? But then in the real notes, this is what gets me. In her notes, this blood could be from multiple Downings or Ortiz or someone else entirely. That's a switch. She switched her results from her lab notes to the serology report. She submitted on at least one sample. When the samples are examined, and there's different intensities, I guess, right? Now, don't think I know any of this shit because, you know, this was so freaking confusing to me. You know, I guess Mary Kay considered it a mixture from more than one contributor, right? And when you had the same intensity, Mary Kay considered the sample from only one person. So in the lab note, she finds different, I guess, antigens, you know, for the A, right? And the B, which is two different bloods now. But in 44.1, I'll call that the smoking gun. It marks the type AB, meaning that it's a mixture of two different profiles. But now in Mary Kate's official report, she identifies 44-1 as having AB blood type. The significance with the switching of these results is that Janet had AB blood type, right? So one will look at the result coming from Janet, but if Mary Kate reported these results correctly, then the sample could have been contributed by the mixture of Paul Downing Sr., Paul Downing Jr., Ryan, Adi Ortiz, or someone else. And I'm not even surprised that Eddie's attorney, like, I'm so sick of hearing this shit, that Eddie's attorney didn't have the lab notes at trial. This guy never thought it was going to get past second base. He probably never thought it was going to get out of a transfer hearing. And I'm so sick of hearing how incompetent the defense was. You know, and several years after this case, she was fired from the director's position at the state police crime lab for like withholding some shit about a rape. Now, this says on July 28, Trooper Dugan of the Mass State Police Middlesex CPAC unit delivered the following items to the lab in connection with the above subject: known blood sample, Paul Downing, 9/20/49. On June 16, 97, Trooper Joseph Dugan delivered the following items: known blood sample from Adi, from Ryan Downing, and Paul Downing. Grouping tests were conducted in the ABO blood group antigens. Phosphorus, whatever. And all these other words over here. You know? That's where I kind of was like, yep, I don't know. But right here, Janet, AB, Eddie O'Brien, O. He has O. There was no O. Paul Downing, A. Adi, B. Ryan, A. Paul Downing, B. Hey, Adi, is Paul yours? I'm just kidding. Guys got the same blood type. So Eddie was type O. You know, and basically, like, why does this matter, right? People say, why does it even matter? Why does it matter? Because I think the prosecution used that AB result to say, look, Eddie must have been covered in Janet's blood. But if the real result was a mixture, then the blood could have came from any one of the Downings. It could have came from Ortiz or somebody else. Now, that whole narrative changes from either Eddie was drenched in the victim's blood to this blood could have come from any number of the people in that house. And that, people, is a whole different case. A whole different case. Imagine going to court, right? And the other side has the real receipts, right? But you only got the edited version. That's what Eddie was up against. And then years later, when this goofball at the lab gets fired, Mary Kate, not transferred, not retired, fired from the director position, right? I remember that shit. From the director position at the State Police Crime Lab. When someone gets fired from a crime lab, especially somebody in a friggin' leadership role, it's never for being too accurate. You know what I mean? Just think about it. Like, you hire a damn mechanic, right, to inspect your car. So he writes in his notebook, all right, the engine's blown, blah, 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 you know. And then in his official report, he hands you, says, hey, the car's perfect. Then you drive the car across the country and it explodes on the friggin' highway, right? So what he put in a notebook was the truth, and what he put in the report was the lie. And that's basically what happened. They put the lie in the report and the truth in the notes. And the lie is what sent Eddie to prison. The lie is 31 years old. What up, Ed? The lie is 31 years old. You know, so remember the blood, you know, inside the notes. You know, but with Mary Kate testing what? Tested 59 bloody items, but ran real serology on only 21 of them. That's like saying, yeah, I checked the whole house for evidence, but I actually only looked in one room. How can your lab notes say one thing, right? But the official report says something totally different. You know, and if you're just getting with us, we're talking about the serology, you know, and this just totally like sent me for a loop. I'm like, I have no friggin' idea. Like, I'm trying to understand this. I don't think I'm smart or intelligent, dumb as a bag of rocks, I tell you. But it looks like that when they did the test, it was like, I guess there's a reaction, right? In like a +1 to like a +4. And that's going to tell you if the blood from one person or if it's a mixture of people, or if the blood's mixed up, you know, different blood. So I guess if it has the same intensity, it's one person, and if it has different, it's a mixture. And that's what serology 101 is. And I guess what kind of screws this shit up, because in this lady's lab notes, she has an A blood, right, which is a 3+, and a B blood, which is a 4+. That means it's a mixture, right? But in this friggin' lady's official report, right, she really writes AB, as in a single person with AB blood. And guess who had AB blood? Janet did. Janet. So now the official report makes it look like that this blood came from the victim. But now if you look inside her notes, it says this blood could be from multiple Downings or Ortiz or someone else entirely. She don't say Eddie O'Brien, because Eddie O'Brien has type O. I don't even know my own blood type, and I know Eddie's blood type. I know Adi's blood type, and I don't even know my own blood type. God damn, I need to smoke something. I don't even know my own damn, but I know Adi's blood type. What does that tell you? She did what Riley wanted her to do, and it's all a bunch of shit. They had to confuse the jury so much. Hey, a confused jury is a conviction. You know, a confused jury is a conviction. Give me a minute. I got to run to the front door. I'll be about 35 seconds.
Cellmark, your chosen lab expert in the game. Tested the blood, telling the world the name. said with conviction, but the truth came out like a hidden addiction. DNA tested, but what did it show? Excluded my man in that courtroom flow. Not a maybe, not a doubt, they sealed the fate. How you sell that story when the evidence won't wait? Stabbings and chaos, the narrative spins, but the DNA's whispering, where do we begin? You're trying to pin the blame, but you're missing the mark. Eddie's outside, lit up, nothing but dark. Can't blame the dog when it wasn't even home. This ain't a fair fight, Eddie's been alone. But the night's truth waiting can't seal Eddie's fate. How do you even tell when facts slip away? We dance round the lies like the night turns to day. Lights dim down, jury on pause in the courtroom theater. I'm just a part of the cause. You're trying to pin the blame, but you're missing the mark. Eddie's outside, lit up, nothing but dark. Can't blame the dog when it wasn't even home. This ain't a fair fight, Eddie's been alone. Oh, chaos in the streets, but the truth won't die. You can try to twist the knife, but look me in the eye. Exclusions in the lab, but you still wanna shout. Did it run through your veins? What's this all about? You're trying to pin the blame, but you're missing the mark. Eddie's outside, lit up, nothing but dark.
Yeah, you know what Ed said was absolutely right. You know, a simple misplaced comma on a report could purposely tell a different story. You know, and don't forget to please go and give blood. Thank you all. You know, now I'm gonna have to do it, Robert. They always call me the blood bank, and I usually make up a story.
I'm O positive. They got
You know. But yeah, everyone, you know, definitely go give blood. It becomes very, very vital. But imagine this lady, her notes, you know, her notes are saying, you know, that, you know, how the official report says one thing, and you think that the blood came from the victim, you know, but her real notes, the blood could be from multiple downings or the Ortiz, and that's something that Riley didn't want to hear. You know what I mean? That's something that Riley definitely did not want to hear.
wonder why Janet's not resting, because the truth buffer is still up there.
You know, and I think it matters because the prosecution used the AB result to say, see, Eddie must have been covered in Janet's blood. But if the real result was a mixture, right, then the blood could have come from any one of the downings. And this is why it's easier for them to believe the lie. You know, I feel bad for the family, but it's hard to really feel bad for the family when there's a liar amongst them. You know, it's really, really hard. You know, rest in peace to Janet. And like I've been saying, I believe Janet is gonna, you know, finally rest when Eddie walks out them doors. And I really, really, I believe that. I believe that, like I'm looking at my phone right now. Like, that's how positive I am. You know, the narrative changes that Eddie was drenched in the victim's blood, which that's so crazy because how did he get so clean? You ain't getting all that blood off you. I mean, this blood could have come from any number of people in that house.
Like the movie I was watching.
Anybody in that house. You know, Eddie's attorney never had her notes. Thank you for the 5, gifted memberships. Other people benefit that. Gives 5 people watching on YouTube right now. Some free memberships, and I hope they stick around after the membership is up, and I hope they re-up their memberships because maybe we're going to come up with some members only stuff that we could do coming up. I think Seekonk Speedway has a trailer race this weekend. If Riley believed that the Downing family were all innocent, what would have been the harm of sending their blood for DNA? They had all their blood. That's right. But you know what the harm would have been. Because he knew they weren't innocent. It's just crazy because if it was one of the kids, Riley would have still had his juvenile killer. And here's the other thing I'm so sick of hearing. How incompetent Eddie's attorneys were. How the hell do you never have the lab notes? How do you not have all your discovery? Imagine going to court, right? And the other side has real shit, right? And all you got is the edited version. You know what I mean? It's like you got the real Jaws and I got the bootleg. That's what happened. Eddie's team had the bootleg. And this is so crazy. And this is why I guess I turn this computer on every single day. Not for the money, not to grift, not to do any of that, to tell people what the truth is. To explain to y'all, what the truth is. We didn't hear from anyone else about, the AAB, the serology. Yeah, and we talked about that on Jerry. The violence in that family should say something. Absolutely. Like I said, Paul watched his father bounce his mom wall to wall. And that's a shame because the 90s, like, come on, it wasn't like 1996 was in the Stone Age. We were removed. OJ had already happened. They were getting tough on domestics. It wasn't like it was in the 70s when you called the police show up, and your husband cracks you again in front of the cop and he don't do anything. And the cop's like, well, you know what, lady, you better listen to your man.
What was?
George thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to fundraise. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to fundraise. I'm going to make all kind of money for y'all. And then he needs more money. I don't think George ever thought this was going to make it past the transfer hearings. And do you know this same crime lab, right? I think it was in 2007. Got raided by the FBI. I don't know if it was a raid or the FBI started a review. You know what I mean? They downloaded more than 20,000, it says 20,000 profiles they did a top to bottom review, right, of the Mass State Police Crime Lab, right? A week after this lady gets fired. Of course he did. I mean, I never thought. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of lawyers say that be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Sometimes I don't always agree that's the way to go. People are like, oh, let the court do their job. No, because the court don't do their job. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you're not raising hell for yourself, nobody's going to raise hell for you. Around that time, I think it was July 20th, 95. I think I got indicted around that time, right? That's crazy. July. Imagine that. July 20th, 1995. Actually, July 20th, I didn't get indicted. I lied. That was when I got arrested. I got pulled outside of the Fleet Bank downtown Providence, July 20th, 1995. So I was like, wow, yeah. And then, then a few months later, the indictment came down. I went pro se because the attorney that I had, my first offer was 25 years. I was like, oh my goodness, man, 25 years. Like, what? So anyway, the attorney that I had, I wasn't really, he was kind of pushing me. So I want to represent myself. And the judge tells me, the fool that has, and this is when I first started like really, really studying law. The judge tells me, the fool that represents himself, or the guy that represents himself as a fool for a client. But I was like, you know what? No one's gonna fight as hard as I am. So all said and done, I that 25 years. But the judge made the lawyer stay on as co-counsel to assist me. And that 25 years got knocked way down till 5 years. Right? So I get the 5 and I'm given parole. Right? And but they said based on has a fool for a lawyer, but based on your crime, you have a staggered release date. And I was a little antsy, and I got a little, sniff at freedom. And I said, all right, people, I'm out of here. And I escaped. True story. You could go look up my record. True story. True story. So then I escaped. And I was gone 4 days, and the Violent Fugitive Task Force came and got me, right? So the guy that ended up catching me was like the size of Brock Lesnar. He was huge, and they take me back, and then they give me Reese Gachet because they charged me with being an habitual at this time. Shout out to you, Eddie. So now they charge me with being an habitual. So I'm like, damn, they want to really keep me in here because let me tell you, my whole 20s, I was bad. I was bad. I grew up around all the guys in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like we used to go around to, Patriarca died in 84, but his pinball shop was still there. And we used to get stacks of tickets to the Civic Center. We used to go around town scalping them, and I don't even think I was 12, 13 years old. So we had a lot of older guys in our neighborhood, and it was either like get down or lay down. And that's why I tell people that some people say, well, you chose to get in trouble. You chose to put yourself in prison. And I'm like, sometimes sometimes you don't choose crime. Crime chooses you. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have no choice but to stand up, or it's either get down or lay down. You know, it's either get with them or be eaten. So anyway, they give me this lawyer, Lisa Gachet, and she ended up being a really, really good attorney. And Judge Gemma was pretty cool. He was about to retire, so I made out pretty good for that escape. I think I got an extra 18 months, and I served all my 20s basically incarcerated until I was 27. But anyway, that's my story, and that's a true story. I don't have to make up a lie that I'm in jail with somebody. You know what I mean? Like, that's a true story. I went to jail and went backwards. I went backwards. I went from low security to high security in Rhode Island. But ever since, when I was 27, I got out, settled down, you know, met my wife again, because we were neighbors growing up, and got married a few months later. Right away. And that was it, man. It's been a long ride. But the good is better than the bad. We never had no serious like fights or anything, crazy brawls like we seen growing up. I never been out for days on acts.
I'll kick your ass.
No, actually, Max in Rhode Island is where you want to do your time. At one point before the 90s, they used to keep a couple rescues out in the parking lot. Dennis Carlson, true story, man. They call him DC. He went to jail when he was mad young. You know what I mean? He escaped, right? Because they didn't have the fences. They only had the bars near the windows. And actually, this picture that I have in here is inside the Max building. This is one of the South State units right here. This is one of the South State units, and they have these big cranks down the end, and they crank the doors, and the doors all come flying shut at the same time. But the reason why this is a good place to do your time, as long as you're a stand-up guy and mind your business. I mean, any prison, I guess, can be dangerous, but Max was a decent place to do your time. I was in there with Freddie Bishop, Thomas Furt, Richard Bonifiglia, Joe Malacone. I was a medium with Joe Malacone, but it was definitely it's where you want to go and do your time. And of course, anything can happen. I remember the leader of the Latin Kings. They were sitting up against a wall. They used to, guys be out there. I don't know, it's sunny. They want to lay out and get a suntan. You know what I mean? All the Guidos. Shout out to my boy Mikey G. You know what I mean? Ricky Lafredo, man. Rest in peace to Richard Razzo, but Patrick Grundy. They all used to go out there in the yard and want to lay out and get suntans and shit. I was like, bro, I'm in jail. I used to play handball like all day. That's all I did, handball, and I worked in the dining room. I was a dining room porter. But yeah, but a better place to do your time is at home. When was I at the AC? Oh, a long time ago. The 90s, basically, 95 into the early 2000s, since I've been out since I was like 27. I've been married since I was like 27, I think, right? Yeah, 27. Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, it's a long time ago. Very long time ago. Since then, I worked in treatment centers trying to help give back. You know what I mean? I learned very young, right? Everybody has a code. right? They say everybody has a code and you should learn to live by that code. But I guess when I was younger, CPA was just sentenced to life yesterday. Well deserved. Plenty of evidence. I'm in shock and horror. Your public accountant? Yeah, 31 years ago. And when you talk about the Eddie stuff, and I think I have mentioned this, when they was like just putting everybody in prison, it didn't stop at the juveniles. That's crazy life. A public accountant for what? I'll tell you what, they gave Sakosha was laundering money for Escobar right here in Rhode Island. A lot of people are like, really? And it's like, yeah, true story. Look it up. I'll never tell you a lie. Steven Sakosha. He was like one of Pablo Escobar's biggest money launderer. He's doing like 600 years. You get more money for more time for washing money, for not giving the government their share, than killing a whole bunch of people. But life is crazy. But you know what? I tell people this, that, and I hear a lot of young people, saying, oh, I used to do a lot with the high schools, with the football and stuff. And some of the younger kids, when I go to the locker rooms and I tell them my story, and it was like, oh wow, you was in prison. That must have been so cool. And I'm like, nah, man, like not at all. It's not something I don't tell people. I'm actually embarrassed by it. And I'm surprised I'm over here just being this open, and that's because I'm comfortable with y'all, because I don't even tell people that shit. But I gotta say, for being in there, right? I stood 10 toes down. You know what I mean? I even got in trouble in prison. You know what I mean? When I was in medium, I got lugged out of medium, sent to Supermax. I didn't stay in Supermax for long. I did like 30 days, got reclassified to Max. I couldn't even stay out of trouble in jail, He's 71 years old. He was wearing a bracelet for 4 years, and we never knew it when we went to him. There is something called Google. You got to Google everybody now, especially when they're dealing with your money. God damn. You're in the garbage business. Come on. You got to Google. You got to look. You got to know that shit. George Money, yeah. Do you know why? Because they knew guys like George don't get a lot of time. You know why? Because they know a lot of the secrets as well. Cicilline, the old man Jack, was the real powerful Cicilline lawyer. But he has two little friggin' snotty nosed kids. David Cicilline, who's the congressman, he was the mayor. Sweet as a $3 bill. And then he has his brother John Cicilline. Well, John was representing the drug dealers, and he was stealing their money.
Sorry.
Him and Bevilacqua, right? True story. Google it. I'll never tell you a lie. So Bevilacqua and Cicilline ended up going to jail, right? Because they committed a crime using their law license, right? Robbing drug dealers now, legally. Just having their family take their money, and then they're making deals with the prosecutor's office. Russell Dufault. True story. Check it out. He's in there for robbing. He's dead now because he had a shootout in Woonsocket about 3 years ago with the state police and someone else. But Cicilline was representing him, John, and John made a deal with the prosecutor. I'll give you this guy, you give me this guy. I know a lot of people, man. You know, thank you for the one gifted membership. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and people like Bob George will never get a lot of time. Not only he gives information, imagine what people like Bob George knows. What secrets does he know? So they're gonna tell Bob George in a situation like that, listen, bro, you gotta do some time. You know what I mean? Because Bob George is like, hey, I know about your dirty little secrets too, but they also know his dirty little secrets. And he knows that if they push the issue, he's looking at 20, 30, 100 years. Like money launderers get a lot of time in prison. So they probably tell him, look, you got to do some time. You know what I mean? And 4 years probably out of what he was probably looking at, he couldn't walk out of it. He had to get some type of time, you know, and I bet that's probably how it went down. Guys like him just know too much shit. You know, so but we'll get back into I want to get back into this. Get back on track here. So yeah, so I guess this lady ended up getting fired. You know, she was the director. Imagine that in the state police crime lab. What was she making? At least 150, 200 back then. I mean, when someone gets fired from a friggin' crime lab, especially leadership, I mean, you know, I'm sure it shakes up a whole bunch of things. Like, I'm sure shit's falling out from everywhere. You know, and you look at the lab report, and basically, this is another report that got Eddie jammed the hell up. When I read this, I was looking like you ever have like I said earlier, you ever have somebody in your neighborhood, right, that tells you a story on Monday, right? And then, you know, it's a whole different way by like Friday. You know, and I think that's what happened inside this state police crime lab. You know, Mary Kate, she was supposed to test blood evidence, right, in the Eddie O'Brien case. But what I feel like she did, it's like switching the answers on a test, right? After the teacher already graded it, basically. You know, and yeah, baby. I don't know if you need it. Yeah.
But
Oh, okay. You know, it's like when you know, instead she pulled a move that's like after the teacher already graded it, she tries to switch it up. And it was the kind that decided a murder conviction. How do you debunk this shit? This is crazy too. I mean, especially out of the 59 things that she was supposed to test, and she only tested what, 21? And when I was reading this, because I was like, all right, how do you know? Isn't it going to mix all together? And I guess when they read the strengths of certain reactions inside the blood, like checking. I guess it's like seeing how loud speakers are. The same volume, that must be one person's blood. Different volumes, multiple blood mixed together. Click, click, click. And I guess that is basic serology. You know. Let me see if I can find it. I think it says 44-1. 3940. Right here. The picture of grapes. Is that it? Item 44. Let me see. Yeah, because this is where, you had the different. Right, yeah. So she marked it as A, B. And in her official report, right, the one that the court saw, she changed it to AB, like regular AB, not A. This is what she originally marked it as. Let me see. Let me show you. I'll put it down here so y'all can basically see it. Put an S for she. I had he. Now she marked it as A, comma B, and that was the correct call. Well, let me type this out now. And if I'm right, this is what happened. Right, she removed the comma. She changed it to AB, which means one person with AB blood, and that was Janet. Janet had the AB blood. And that switch right there, I think, made the blood look like it came straight from the victim. Instead, because we can't have it look like it came from multiple people. I want to type this out too, people. You know what I mean? Because if that switch, right, makes it look like, think about it, right? That switch right there makes it look like it came just from Janet and not coming from multiple Downing members or T's, because it had to be one of them. See, no one else is going to tell you this stuff. Nobody. Nobody's going to tell you what I bring you.
They don't take the time to.
You know what I mean? Like,
skim through it. Not even reading it.
You got to be ADD. You got to understand that shit. You know what I mean? You got to see where I'm weird. And I don't even understand this shit. This shit is just like, it took me a while. I had to like really like, it was crazy. But I'll tell you what though, that's a whole different case from the story they're telling you that, oh, Eddie was covered in the victim's blood. To what? This blood could have come from anybody who lived there. But because we can't debunk that, right? Can't debunk that. That's reasonable doubt right there, right? That's crazy, man. Like, all this shit, like, you would think this case is like, come on. common sense. Imagine going to court. Like I said, you're the defense and you got the edited version. And the guy on the other side has the originals, and it's like, you don't get the originals? And then this lady gets fired? You know what I mean? The lady that screwed up everything gets fired? I'll tell you what, she didn't get fired from doing good things. Wow. Yep, you don't get fired from doing good shit, that's for sure. You know, that is crazy.
You think they're gonna get away with it too? Like, what do you think they're gonna get done once in a while?
You know, and 2026, I'm sure Riley never thought that this stuff was coming.
I don't think anybody did.
You know, I don't think he thought that this. I don't think he thought that at all. Look, the V-neck blouse, AB. The wooden post by fingerprint, ABH. No further test by this lab, I'm sure. Item 45 and item 70. All right, give me a minute, and I want to talk a little bit about the. I got some of these nice videos here, actually. All right, give me a minute, and we'll be right back.
Can't blame the dog when it wasn't even home. This ain't a fair fight. Eddie's been alone. You believe it? Square one was a stage. The scripts were all signed. Before the first siren, before the yellow line, a kid from the corner, a town in a cage. They traded his youth for the front page rage. 30 long years in a shadow-bound cell for a story they manufactured to sell. But ink starts to fade and the truth starts to bleed when power and ambition are all that they need. This is Eddie's truth, rising from the floor, knocking like thunder at the courthouse door. You can bury the facts, you can script out the youth, but you can't lock away Eddie's truth. Yeah, the silence is breaking, the walls have to fall. Eddie's truth is gonna outlive them all. They talk about justice, but look at the polls, trading a life for their political goals. Nash wrote the pages, the web spread the light, exposing the ghosts that were manufactured that night. The Somerville streets know the weight of the lie, how a gavel can swing while the innocent cry. But July brings the motion, the Rule 35, to strip all the grease from a rigged up trial. This is Eddie's truth, rising from the floor, knocking like thunder at the courthouse door. You can bury the facts, you can script out the youth, but you can't lock away Eddie's truth. Yeah, the silence is breaking, the walls have to fall. Eddie's truth is gonna outlive them all. 30 years of waiting for the scales to dip right. 30 years of turning the dark into light. It's more than emotion on legal pad sheets. It's a declaration to the Somerville streets. This is Eddie's truth, rising from the floor, knocking like thunder at the courthouse door. You can bury the facts, you can script out the youth, but you can't lock away Eddie's truth. Yeah, the silence is breaking, the walls have to fall. Eddie's truth is gonna outlive them all. Eddie's coming, the light's breaking through. No more whispers in the dark, just the truth. Eddie's truth. Eddie's truth. Yeah. You know where I stand. Yeah. You know where I stand. These walls echo my name, but they don't know my truth. Captured in a frame, but my spirit's bulletproof. Took my freedom away, but couldn't silence my call. That whisper in the night, I'm innocent after all.
I am still here. Hear my voice, can't you see?
I rise with the sun.
Can nobody bury me? I am still here. Hear my heart, can't you feel?
Truth runs
runs deep within.
It's the only thing that's
Counting down the years, but seasons on pause. Watch my dreams fade like light behind bars.
Oh, here it is. All right, I'm back. The truth serum, I think, is some of the. I think the truth serum is some of the strongest evidence that there is. You know, you ever see someone try to prove they're telling the truth, right? But the people judging them, they already decided that they don't care. That's what we have here. You know, it's like the people that were judging them, they didn't care. They already decided that they didn't care about Eddie. You know, they could care less. If I sound distracted, because I'm trying to do like 3 things at once. You know, but the people judging them, they already decided that they didn't care, right? And that's what happened, I think, when Eddie O'Brien, you know, when he went and took the truth serum interview, you know, hoping it would show he wasn't lying about what happened that night of July 23rd. But the court, oh, they didn't want to hear it, but I bet they would want to hear it if it went the other way.
Eddie O'Brien denied the murder both before and after the drugs were administered. The prosecutor says it means nothing. He says O'Brien told different stories to the same examiner.
He never accounts for the fact that his blood is in that house. He never explains that away in the tape, and he would not have been able to explain that away at trial.
Eddie O'Brien was convicted this fall of murdering his neighbor Janet Downing in her home in 1995. The woman was stabbed repeatedly. Both O'Brien's and Downing's blood were found at the scene. Truth serum evidence has never been used in a criminal case in Massachusetts, nor has it been allowed in any major trial in the United States. And some criminal attorneys say there's a good reason.
Using a truth serum is an attempt to use a medical test for a determination that the jury is supposed to make. Are you telling the truth?
The doctor who administered the drug calls it reliable, saying it's been used clinically for 50 years.
It is new to the forensic field, but in clinical medicine today, it is a valid, reliable tool.
I walked in, right to my left, I saw Janet on the floor. She was laying there all covered with blood.
All covered with blood now?
The blood all over the stairs and the hallway.
The bottom line in all of this is that Ed O'Brien has been convicted of killing Janet Downing. That's
See, and he says
never going to change.
Bottom line, he's been convicted, so it don't even matter. But that truth serum video, and then, you know, it's crazy because you know that this video was released by the judge like 10 years later to the public. Was that judge trying to tell the public something? Being like, you know, why was that video, that piece of that video released 10 years later? I mean, when Eddie O'Brien took that interview, let me get this ugly mug off the screen. God damn. He's not even cockeyed at this point.
Did you stab her?
No.
No, see, did you? No. And Eddie's not, he's not lying under this. You know? Yeah, we said yesterday, you know, we sent prayers out to Unforgettable's family. I think her son was having a procedure, you know, so, you know, wanted to send prayers out, you know. My wife told me yesterday.
She wasn't there. She was in the hospital too yesterday. Yeah, I sent no prayers out to her.
You know, so yeah, you know, get well, you know.
You didn't hurt Janet Downing?
No.
You didn't hurt her. Like, you are not lying. Understand, Eddie. No problem, man. I know this video is tough for him to watch, but I think there's a lot of people that really need to see this video, and I'm sure it's tough. But this is the one thing that, like, this is his innocence, you know, and Ed knows his son is innocent. You know, so yeah. Didn't mean no disrespect showing the video, but this is one video that I think a lot of people really need to see.
This is the evidence they hid.
You know, yeah, they hid this shit. And there was a reason that a judge, you know, 10 years later released it.
Did you kill her?
No.
Eddie O'Brien denied the murder both before and after the drugs were administered. The prosecutor says it means nothing. He says O'Brien told different stories to the same examiner.
He never accounts for the fact that his blood is in that house. He never explains that away in the tape, and he would not have been able to explain that away at trial.
Eddie O'Brien was convicted this fall of murdering his neighbor Janet Downing in her home in 1995. The woman was stabbed repeatedly. Both O'Brien's and Downing's blood were found at the scene. Truth serum evidence has never been used in a criminal case in Massachusetts, nor has it been allowed in any major trial in the United States. And some criminal attorneys say there's a good reason.
Using a truth serum is an attempt to use a medical test for a determination that the jury is supposed to make. Are you telling me?
Imagine if they started doing this, like using a truth serum, right, instead of a jury. I think the conviction rate will go through the roof. You know, and I had to read up on what truth serum was. Like, I don't just automatically know all this shit. You know, Amytal, I guess, is a barbiturate. You know, barbiturates kind of relax you. You know, they make you calm. They lower your defenses right down and make people just stop being jibber jabbers, talking freely. You know, back in the day, they used to say cops and shrinks used it. You know, like, basically, let's see what you say when your guard is down. Yeah, I mean, to think that he could do all of this, get over on all these people, he would be like a mad genius. You know, but back in the day, they would use this shit. You know, cops would use it. They would give you barbiturates and stuff to try to, like, all right, let's see what he has to say. You know, try to put you under, be sneaky. I mean, it's not a lie detector. It's not magic. You know what I mean? It's how they, you know, I'm sure that the CIA used it. You know, they call it truth serum. But in reality, they said it's like being an honest drunk. This is where you get the raw emotions, not always the clean facts, but you get, you know, you could put it together. Sometimes you will. You know, Eddie took the test because he was trying to show he wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't lying. He didn't do this crime. You know what I mean? His story stayed the same even under the chemical pressure. I mean, he was a 14-year-old kid trying to prove he's innocent when they already decided that he was friggin' guilty. And what's even crazy, right? He took that test voluntarily, not forced, not tricked. Why would he take it if he thought he did it, right? Or if he knew he did it? Because I think Eddie believed that that was the truth and that would help him. You know, and I think the part that people need to understand is that these Amytal tests are not allowed in court, right? But I think you could allow it in opening statements. You could allow it in closing. You allowed Eddie to take the test. Why? We know it don't guarantee the truth, but you could let the jury decide. You could at least let them hear it. It don't have to be evidence. You don't have to say, just because the truth serum test, he said this or he said that. You have to, use your own common sense. We understand that it's not guaranteed, but you could at least let them know about it. You kept everything that they asked for out of court. We went over that, 2 days ago? Shit, people can hallucinate, right? Karen Reed trial. Oh, I misremembered. It was a false memory. What the frig? People can say things, but I don't think Eddie was like a trained marksman where he can say shit to please the interviewer. You know what I mean? The courts treat these Amytal tests like they're boss stories, for crying out loud. Oh, they're interesting, maybe revealing, but not reliable. Imagine that. Lie detector test results are also banned, but sometimes you can get them in. They know about what's going on. Look, the real problem is not only that, is that they ignored what he said anyway, right? Even though the test wasn't admissible, the content of what Eddie said didn't matter. He didn't confess. I bet if he did confess, right? I bet if he did slip up, I bet if he revealed some hidden motive or where the weapon was, I guarantee that dirty ass Riley would have used it. But no, his story stayed consistent with what he'd been saying in his own words for years. That he walked into the house, he heard a noise, he saw Janet, he tried to wake her up, he panicked. He didn't do that to her. And that Amytal test that shit didn't expose guilt, right? It exposed what? Fear, shock, trauma. I know the O'Briens hate to see that video, but I just, sometimes, people need to see it. And I know Ed's okay with it. They wanted a conviction, man. They didn't want they didn't want the damn truth. Imagine getting accused of stealing some shit, right? And you swear you didn't do it. You even let them search your pockets, your bag, your house, your car, your garage, your doghouse, the outhouse. Then you say, fine, I'll take whatever test you want. You take the test, you pass the test, and they still say, yeah, we're not going to use that. That's what happened to Eddie. He tried to prove his innocence every way he could. But the system, right, they only wanted to accept the evidence that fit their story. They only want that fit their story. When people hear truth serum, they're like, oh shit, he must have confessed. But no, he didn't. Right? And the test wasn't allowed in court. Not because Eddie failed the test, because the law says no. The judge said no about everything, basically. The public deserves to know that. So I'm glad a judge, 10 years later, decided to put that out there so that people can see that Eddie took the truth serum. And the truth is, Eddie did take it. He didn't confess. He stayed with what he was saying when he was sober. And the court refused to hear it. Eddie said, no problem. Whatever you want me to do. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it. When we get back, man, I'll close this out with a little something. If he didn't care, whatever you want, I'll do it. Oh yeah, let's go. Come on now.
Square one was a stage. The scripts were all signed. Before the first siren, before the yellow line. A kid from the corner, a town in a cage. They traded his youth for the front page rage. 30 long years in a shadow-bound cell for a story they manufactured to sell. But ink starts to fade and the truth starts to bleed when power and ambition are all that they need. This is Eddie's truth, rising from the floor, knocking like thunder at the courthouse door. You can bury the facts, you can script out the youth, but you can't lock away Eddie's truth. Yeah, the silence is breaking, the walls have to fall. Eddie's truth is gonna outlive them all. They talked about justice, but looked at the polls, trading a life for their political goals. Nash wrote the pages, the web spread the light, exposing the ghosts that were manufactured that night. The Somerville streets know the weight of the lie, how a gavel can swing while the innocent cry.
Okay, man, don't forget on August 7th, man, get out there to Somerville VFW on Summer Street, I think it's about 6 to 10 p.m. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be a good time. You're going to get the first look screening of, Commonwealth versus Eddie O'Brien, and you're going to get to see how, the Commonwealth's case gets dismantled. You got to just break it right down. But you already know, I definitely appreciate all y'all, that stick with me. Shout out to you guys. Big shout out for the 2 Jules Silver Star. Look at that. Thank you. Riley for Prison 2026. I like that one. Look at the jack of evidence and the truth serum. It's like the lack of evidence. There you go. I'm reading it backwards too. Looking at the lack of evidence in the truth serum, it's like common sense there's others involved and not Eddie. Absolutely. You see what the original blood test said, that it was actually multiple downings. Shout out to Mr. O'Brien again. He knows, you know. Yeah, after everything I think that we walked through, the timelines, the shit don't line up, the blood evidence that don't match, the lab notes, right? That just change like that. The truth serum, that they just refused to hear. There's one thing that becomes painfully clear. My friggin' head is gonna explode from all of this shit, man. I gotta say, man, it's been good, kind of diving back into cases again, and especially when they ain't your cases, but it's made me feel real good to be able to at least help Eddie, help his family, at least if anything, explain it to y'all, and I hope I done a good job at that, the last, 3 months, thank you, man. It's been great, and after we free Eddie, we're gonna have to find the next person that we need to help, free, but I don't think this case was ever about truth with the Commonwealth. I think it was about having control, right? Because when a 14-year-old kid takes an Amytal test, right, a test that he didn't even have to take, a test that he didn't even have to take. Oh, look at that, 2 joules. 2 joules. 2 joules. Thank you. Really appreciate that, man. Look at that. Big shout out for the 5 gifted. I want to go over this real quick. 10 joules, a gold coin. Thank you. Appreciate that, Courtney. Teresa gifted 1 membership. Thank you very, very much. And top mod out there, Miss Denise Noel with 2 joules. Appreciate that. 2, 4, and that makes 6. Haha, 8 joules. 8 joules. 10 joules. Whoa, and it keeps going. 12, 14, 80. Whoa, clock it. 10 joules. Look at that. I didn't even see all this. Thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Wow. And they're still going. 12 joules. I have to see what a joule is, but thank you. Thank you. I got 12 joules. Really appreciate that, and we got some great mods, man. It's that if you stab someone as many times as they say you will need days, yes, you would. Absolutely, man. I'm trying to get my boy Johnny, somebody ain't my boy, but somebody that I know from years ago that he knows what went on in that. Well, he knows similar what went on in that house. Yeah, it's just like Karen Reed. Absolutely, man. Oh, more joules. Look at this. 10. They just keep going. Incredible. Thank you, man. But I mean, when a young kid like Eddie, 15, a test he didn't have to take, he volunteers to take the test thinking it's going to help. Yeah, if I take the test, they're going to know I'm innocent. I mean, Eddie still thinks that they're going to open his door one day, and the system looks at it and what did the federal judge tell Eddie? What a shame. The federal judge looks at his case and basically tells Eddie, I'm with you, kid. But the case was too hard. It was too bad of a 250 joules. We got the top MVP. 250 joules. Match that. That's how you match the energy, man. Innocent people have nothing to hide, absolutely. And Eddie went into that, right? You would need to go to the ocean for a swim. Bingo. I like that, man. Look at Robert throwing out metaphors. Was that a metaphor? Was that a double entendre? You know, you need to go to the ocean for a swim. Are you saying what I think you're saying? Or he's like, no, you just need to go to the ocean. You know, but someone else went to the ocean for a swim. You know, and for the judge to say, no, we ain't going to use that. You know, I get it can't be evidence. Yes, fully clothed, but there's a way that you can instruct the jury that, when it comes in opening arguments or closing arguments, he even took an Amytal test and didn't fail. You know, and then when the crime lab writes one thing in their notes, right, and then something completely different in the official report. And nobody in the courtroom even blinks an eye. And Bob George don't have the report from the crime lab. Yeah, he had sneakers in the backpack. He had a knife in the backpack. He had a few things in that backpack. You know, because this timeline, it's like a movie script, right? That no one bothered to edit. It's like that movie Snow, when the kid in the hood gets the camcorder and they just record everything. You know, the people closest to the scene keeps popping up in places that they shouldn't even be, right? And the evidence keeps pointing in all directions. But the prosecutor just don't want to look. Right? Because that wasn't no damn investigation, right? They made a decision. They made it long before Eddie even stepped into that courtroom, people. And I think once the system decides who the villain is, right, they're not going to go back and check the story. They'll just build the story around the person that they picked. And I think the part that they didn't expect was that the truth don't disappear, Riley, just because the court ignores it. Right? The truth didn't die. You know what I mean? The truth is here, right? Just because the report says something different, the truth don't fade away just because the wrong person got blamed. Shit. The truth is going to wait around. It's going to sit around. It's going to chill, parlay. It's going to survive. And then, when you least expect it, little Riley, right? It's going to start getting loud. And who knows? Maybe somebody out there knows somebody that was an assistant district attorney back then. They had to have, 200 of them? Maybe they know somebody that, they want to get some release off. They want to, they want to speak on it. Give them the email. Somebody out there from the Riley camp. You're not getting any younger. You want to make sure you get into that heavenly paradise, man, if there's a chance. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why. He never got the key back. The law enforcement found the key and gave it back. He doesn't remember. You check your notifications and you check all. Sometimes it has it like personalized. But yeah, try to check your notification, the button on that, and just click all. I mean, the truth didn't, the wrong person got blamed. And it just gets louder and louder. So I think if you take anything away from this today, and we covered a lot of shit today, man. Then the boy is pretty good, isn't he? I wasn't even preparing for that. I was trying, and I didn't even understand like half that blood talk shit. You know what I mean? Like, I know a little bit now. Remove the comma, but that took me a little while to get. I mean, this stuff it's not easy, trying to understand this shit and then trying to a decent way to deliver it. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate all y'all, and I know you appreciate us and we appreciate y'all. It's what's happening. If you unchecked and rechecked, it worked for me. Oh, and it's my daughter's here. Oh shit, it is my business. It's his house.
Someone catch that me.
Another round. Let's go.
So yeah, so I guess the truth's gonna wait. It's gonna survive.
When every breakup ends in flames, but when you know.
Listen, man, if y'all take anything from this today, I guess Eddie didn't just, that ain't the one I wanted. That was the wrong one. See, that was the wrong one. But yeah, if you take anything away from this today, maybe, Eddie didn't just get failed by a system. He got replaced by a narrative. And that narrative couldn't survive the evidence, the timeline, shit, the science, the truth serum, the facts. Margot Nash said there was nothing that could protect Eddie, unfortunately. They keep so they couldn't survive much of anything, Margot Nash said, nothing could protect Eddie. But we're getting these narratives cracking, we're getting them to crumble under their own weight, So it's just not over, people. Not by a long shot, I think once other people understand what's happening, once they see the contradictions, the switching of the blood, the taking commas out of shit, crazy stuff. I mean, they don't forget. We can't forget either. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about the FBI raid at the crime lab. But I appreciate everybody. I'm out of here.
Any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant only for educational purpose only.
Left my house feeling good, sun shining bright. So Tony G on the porch, just a casual sight. But then I glanced it down, his door wide ajar. I had to check it out, my heart racing like a car. I stepped into the entrance, felt the chill of the night. Heard some noise from within, never thought it felt so right. With the creak of the door, darkness feel like a wave. What I saw left me frozen, man, I couldn't be brave. You can charge me, but I'm not guilty. Caught in a moment, life's a little filthy. Wasn't ready for the shadows lurking near, but I hold my ground, got nothing to fear. I called out to Janet, but silence gripped my throat. My instincts kicked in hard like I'm on a tightrope. Bend down to shake a heart pounding like a drum. But what I saw next made me feel so numb. Blood on the floor like a canvas dread. Thoughts racing through my mind, what happened? Where's she dead? Caught in the scene like an actor in a play. Hoping that somehow I could just walk away. You can charge me, but I'm not guilty. Life's a battlefield, got my eyes wide, feel free. Darkness all around, but I still choose to fight. Got nothing to hide, stepping into this light. In the neighborhood, where shadows cast long. Every step I take feels like I'm doing something wrong. But I'm just a witness, caught in a strange view. Justice on the line, but what's a man to do? Finger pointed at me, but I can't take the blame. Standing tall in this arena, it's a twisted game. The sirens well outside, bringing chaos and heat. But truth is on my side, I won't accept defeat. Life's a rough patch, it's a turbulent sea. But in the stormy moment, I stand, I am free. No incriminations here, it's just a misunderstanding. But time will reveal truths, no need for demanding. So I keep my head high, I won't falter or bow. Charging through the thick air, stating here and now. You can charge me, but I'm not guilty. Caught in a whirlwind, but I stand gracefully. Life's twisted plots can try to bring me down, but I'm stronger than the shadows. Wear the truth like a crown. Left my house feeling good, sun shining bright. So Tony G on the...
Yeah. Them the tree they tried to bury. Yeah.
I'm the storm, I'm the storm they tried to bottle, the truth they tried to drown. 15 years old, they threw a king's weight on a child's crown. But I rise like a riot, like a siren in the night. And I'm calling out the dude who's been ducking the light. Name's Art Ortiz, yeah, that fraud. Moving like a shadow puppet pulled by a coward god. Every time the block shake, he the first one to vanish. Moving like guilt, wearing sneakers, sprinting off in a panic. I'm like, why you always running when the truth get loud? Why your footsteps echo different from the rest of the crowd? You slither through the alleys like a rumor with legs, but when the questions start flying, you crack like eggs. I was sitting on the porch, whole hood saw me chilling. You was creeping through the dark like a plot you was feeling. You a ghost with a heartbeat, a whisper with shoes, a silhouette sprinting off, dropping half-baked clues. I spit metaphors heavy, you the fence jumper phantom, the backyard bandit, the night shift random. You the type to leave footprints, but swear you ain't walk. The type to hear your name whispered and pretend you ain't talk. I'm the kid they tried to bury, but I grew like a vine. Truth climbing every wall, exposing every design. You the dude in the shadows, ducking every spotlight beam, moving like a glitch in the neighborhood dream. This ain't an accusation, this a lyrical rig, a metaphor for every grown man who let a child bleed, for every dude who stayed silent while a kid took the fall, for every shadow in the night who ain't stand up at all. So fictional art, so listen, I'm the storm you can't dodge. I'm the truth in the alley, I'm the ghost in the lodge. I'm the voice of the timeline, the pulse of the street, and every lie you ever told get exposed to the beat. So keep running and hiding, but you can't escape. Truth so relentless, tide your facade's gonna break. I'm the storm, I'm the light, I'm the echo, the fight. And when the beat drops down, you're gonna feel me tonight.
Your voice is strong, it's time to be free.
let the voices ring. Together we rise, it's a hell of a thing. We'll sign the petition, take back the night. Fighting for Eddie, we'll win this fight. Oh, Eddie, hold on tight. We're dancing for the truth tonight. Break the chains, let the world see. Your voice is strong, it's time to be free. Justice for Eddie, justice for all. We'll rise together, we'll never fall. More than half alive in a crowded cage, but hope knows no bounds. It's never too late. Hear the rhythm, feel the beat. Justice is coming, can't accept defeat. No more shadows, let the truth shine bright. Eddie O'Brien, ready for the fight. So let's light the way with our hearts ablaze. Dancing for justice, we're entering a new phase. Sign for Eddie, let the world know we're standing together. We're ready to go.
never fall. More than half alive in a crowded cage, but hope knows no bounds. It's never
the beat. Justice is coming, can't accept defeat. No more shadows, let the truth shine bright. Eddie O'Brien, ready for the fight. So let's light the way with our hearts ablaze. Dancing for justice, we're entering a new phase. Sign for Eddie, let the world know we're standing together. We're ready to go. Years old, life in a flash. Eddie O'Brien's dreams turned to ash. Caught in a storm of political lies. Justice was blind, just heard the cries. In 95, when the law turned cold, a tale of the super predator, truth untold.